Good evening and welcome to Ridgecrest Talk, the Thursday night edition. I'm Al Huey along with my partner Robert Eierman, and we're privileged and honored to have with us tonight as our guest Mr. Mike Lemming. He's the fair manager at Desert Empire Fairgrounds. Mike, welcome.
Well,
Thanks
you.
for joining
I
us.
appreciate you having me. I really
Thank
do.
you
It's
for
an honor
coming
to
in.
be here.
And the purpose of this, we really would like to get information out to the public about the fair, how it works, who runs it, talk about the fair manager position, how that's filled. There's a 9-member board, fair board.
That's right.
And then a little bit about the history of the local fair here.
Sure.
If you can visit the website, there's a website out there that the fair has. It's desertempirefair.com. How much easier can that
That's
get?
right.
Desertempirefair.com.
Yeah.
So again, why don't you tell us a little bit about the fair, the history and
Sure. Well, it started way before I got here. It's actually this year, 2015, is our 65th anniversary of the fair. The fair started actually in 1950. It originally was the desert. I think the High Desert Stampede is initially a rodeo, and developed into a fair. Actually, the Chamber of Commerce was one that really got active, and then starting the Desert Empire Fair, and it eventually developed in Desert Empire Fair Incorporated. But 1950, it actually started out. We know where Home Depot is right now. That's where it started out, on the Kirschmeyer
Okay,
property.
yeah, I remember
Okay.
people telling me that's where
Exactly,
the fair
and that's
used
where
to
it
be.
started. So they started the fair, and they had the big top there, and had all the livestock auctions, all the exhibits and everything there. But one of the things
It was all done in tents then.
oh
huh?
yeah, it's all done in tents. Well, you know how it is in the desert. The wind
Yes.
comes up.
Wind.
that 4-letter word that we don't like.
Yeah.
And so, what really developed eventually was that they wanted to buy property and put permanent buildings and everything on it. And that's what happened back in 1967. They actually paid off the loan on the land, and then they started putting buildings and everything. Joshua Hall was the first building that went up
Okay.
back in the late 60s, early 70s, and then it transpired from there. Arena was built and all that. So it all developed into what it is now. And
How much land does the fair encompass out there?
You know, the fair is probably near 20 acres is what it is. The last that I said, I think probably between 15 and 20 acres
Okay.
is what it encompasses. And of course, we do have an RV park now, and like we were talking earlier, is how we basically get our income is basically two main things. Is we have an RV park that we rent spaces out to, and then
Now, who typically frequents that?
you know it varies. I mean, we have semi-permanent residents out there, people
Okay.
that maybe have sold their homes and they're now retired. They don't want the hassle of keeping a home. Then we
They
have
travel and then they use that as their base.
exactly use that as their base. They'll leave during the summertime, go to a cooler climate, and then come back during the wintertime. So
Okay.
that's how they do it. Plus, we have a lot of people from that come through from going to Death Valley. We have people coming through that going up to Bishop, overnight stays. You know, a lot of that. So so we have a lot of people. I mean, we have people come from Germany, France, everything that rent, you know, motor homes, and they stop in Ridgecrest on their way either up north or over to Death Valley. So that's one of our main income sources is our RV park.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's one of what we're trying to do is eventually get some money to improve our RV park. We have some nice facilities out there as far as showers and laundry facilities and all that. So if you're there, it's all self-contained, and you don't just have to use your RV for your, you know, as far as you know, your showers and all that type of stuff. So we have lots, you know, we have all that. But we use that, and then of course we rent out our buildings. And so we rent out our buildings for like weddings, and there again we talk about weddings, quinceaneras, company. We actually have a company that has a picnic out there every year, and for company picnics, for company Christmas parties, functions, that type of stuff. My wife is having her 50th birthday out there at the end of the month, so it's different things. I mean, a lot of memories have been made out there. A lot of memories. We have our halls are available for concerts, and we've had some big names out there, you know, as far as concerts. So that's basically how we bring in income. Is that in addition to our fair and any, like we have a yard sale coming up the 1st of February, and then we derive income from that.
Oh, okay.
So somebody or group of somebody's rents the building for that?
No, we actually that's one of our functions that we put on. We put on 2 yard sales. It's fair sponsored. We put on 2 yard sales.
Okay.
We're actually working on. We have a beer, wine, and food walk that we have the end of March, which is going to be a great thing, and then we're working on a drone festival too. That we're working with a local company here in town, trying to put on a drone festival.
A drone?
A drone festival, absolutely. Okay. So there'll be little drones flying around out there.
Okay.
So we have lots of things going on. We don't have the staff large enough to put on a lot of fair sponsored events. So we depend on people, you know, like the Daily Independent has their home show that they'll have out there. We have the Santa's Art Shop, you know, that's out there. We have the Quilt Guild show. We have the Gem and Mineral show. That's all put on. They rent the facilities from us, and they put the events on themselves.
So
Now, are those listed on your website
Yes.
so people can know?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. And we have a brand new website, by the way, that we're very proud of.
okay,
And-
was that designed by somebody locally?
Yeah,
here?
it's designed actually by the gentleman I have on staff, Brent Palmer. And Brent actually moved over here from Bakersfield, and we're very, very fortunate to have him. He's very talented. And I told him, I said, okay, this is what we're searching for. Something easy to navigate and easy to work with. Someone that maybe just got on the internet for the first time can use that. And it also has a donate now button on there. You can also pay for your RV space there. And it's really a nice website. We're very proud of it.
Well, we're about ready to go to break here shortly. When we get back, we want to talk more about some of the specifics, the history. You gave a little bit of the
Yeah,
history.
sure.
Talking about it was kind of privately owned.
Sure.
And then the state came in. Talk a little bit about that and some of the other structures that were built. So don't go away. And again, the website, if you want to go check out what the fair has, it's desertempirefair.com. All right. We'll be back right after this break with
Absolutely,
more.
we'll have more, and we'll
Ridgecrest
talk about
Talk.
employees. And welcome back to the Thursday evening edition of Ridgecrest Talk. I'm Robert Eierman, along with my partner Al Huey, and we're very pleased to have with us this evening Mr. Mike Lemming. And we've been talking about the fair in the first segment, and we'll continue with that. Let's talk about how many employees are there, what kind of an employee you are, as far as how that came about, and how much you work out there, and that kind of thing.
Well, actually, 2011, I took over the position of CEO, and it was originally when the job offer was put out there, it was originally going to be as a state employee. But when the fair was notified that they were losing their funding, then that sort of changed. So I came in as a 119-day employee, is what I come in as, and so I was there, and I was limited to the fact is I couldn't put in more than 1,000 hours. A year or more than 119 days. So I had to work around that. So I had to make sure that my time, the hours that I spent, was there when it was busiest. And that's the same thing holds true with all the people that work there. They're 119-day employees. So after a certain period of time with the state, after being a 119-day employee, then you have to decide, okay, am I going to become a state employee, an independent contractor, or whatever? And so the fair could not afford to pay a state employee. So I met with the board and said, okay, why don't I become an independent contractor? Which means that they pay me a certain amount a month to do a job, whether it takes 24 hours a day or 3 hours a day. You know, so that's what we work. So generally, my day consists of being there when there's no fair or not an event. I'm usually there from 8 until 12, and I make sure that during those 4 hours, I make sure that I try to accomplish as much as I possibly can. So then I have, like we were talking before, I have essentially 2 office people and a maintenance man, all part-time. So when we're there, we have to work. we have to make sure that we do accomplish what we need to do. Now, the good thing is, like I was telling Al, is we have a work agreement with the Sheriff's Department where we actually get work release people come in. And we've been very fortunate. We've got a lot of good people there. And we also have an agreement with the Human Services Department, which is a branch of the Welfare Department, where we get people come in and they're able to work for us and everything. So and there again, we've done real well with those people. We've really got some good people. So that's how we do. We have to think, and I know it's an old cliche, thinking out of the box, but the fact of the matter is we have to. We do not have any other options. We have to think out of the box.
Well, I'd hate to be that maintenance guy.
Yeah.
Part-time. Those buildings, all that equipment.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he's we have a very talented, hard-working man that does it. He's he's actually a auto technician, so he's a jack of all trades. So when it comes to repairing the coolers, or we do have to call people in to do our electrical work because he's not licensed to do that, but he works hard. So and when we do have work release people, and when we have people from human services. He knows that he's got to put them to work and make sure we accomplish.
Well, how about you talking about you rent the facilities out? You have to prepare those before the people get there, clean them up, sweep them out, whatever.
Yeah.
Does he do that?
Yep, he does that along with any staff that we have from the work release and human services. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Got to keep things clean.
So, long time ago, and we talked earlier, it was Ridgecrest Fair. It was our own fair. Mm-hmm. The town purchased the land and but yet now it's state-owned. So
Yes.
could you tell us how that happened?
Well, basically, about 1967, they actually had paid off the land. Okay, and so now they needed to build buildings. So they went to a local bank and said, okay, we need to borrow some money to build these buildings. And of course, it's like in any lending institution, they want to make sure that their bases are covered. They want to make sure that
their money's secure.
Their money's secure. So one of the stipulations was, okay, if you build these buildings, you can use a certain amount of volunteer labor, but we need to make sure that these buildings are done right. So there has to be a licensed contractor that oversees all this work and everything. Well, I guess apparently, according to my sources, and it's pretty reliable, is they didn't do that. So the bank was going to foreclose on the building and everything. So the board of directors then contacted the state and said, okay, here's our situation. Can we become a state fair? And you can just go ahead and pay off, our loan. And that's what happened. So the state paid off the land, paid off the loan and everything, and took care of it. And then now it became a state-owned property. And that's how it became a state fair.
And there's rumors floating around, have been for a while, that the state is looking to sell the property.
I've heard those rumors too, but I just got back. I was a couple of weeks ago in Reno. They had our fair convention, so I had an opportunity to talk to people from the state and everything. The state, that's not their intentions. They want the fairs to be solid. They know how important they are to the communities, and then like I was saying to you earlier, that Governor Brown just put into his budget infrastructure help and also assistance for the small state fairs. So if that was the case, why would they want to put money into the infrastructure and then turn around and sell it?
Yeah. Now we're the smallest category of fair.
Yeah, we're basically we're a Class 1 fair. Okay. We're actually one of the 5 smallest fairs in the state. So they know that the small fairs need the help, and so there's lots of programs. I should say lots. There's a few programs out there that we're going after. We're actually working right now with Department of General Services, which is a branch of the state government. Okay, and they oversee all the property that the state owns, and we're working with Southern California Edison. What they're going to do is they're going to come out and take a look at our utilities, see where we can improve our usage and everything. And they're actually going to, us and 3 other fairs are working together so we can bring in a contractor that can replace our lighting, go out and maybe replace some electrical and that type of stuff.
So the 3 of you
The
band
four,
together.
yeah,
or
four fairs, yeah.
Okay, band together.
Band together. So it will make what happens is we can pay the contractor out of our savings. Okay, so see, we have right now, and a lot of people are not aware of this, not privy to this. About 14, 15 years ago, we had solar panels installed on our fairgrounds on about 4 buildings. Those
Before you go any further,
Sure.
Right.
unfortunately, we're up on another break, so
that's okay.
Yeah.
come back. We'll be here and finish up with Mr. Mike Lemming from the fairgrounds. And well, welcome back to Ridgecrest Talk. We're here again with Mike Lemming from the fairgrounds, and if you don't have it written down, you can go to their website, which is desertempirefair.com. Before we went to break, Robert had asked you about the sale of the land,
Yeah.
and you were just into explaining that.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that.
Well, basically, the probability of that happening is slim and none. You know.
Okay.
And the reason is behind that is within the budget. If the budget gets passed, and we need your help, please write a letter to Jean Fuller and tell her, please help pass that budget.
Okay.
But if the budget's passed, they have $7 million in that budget for smaller fairgrounds for infrastructure improvements. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense for them to take that kind of money and put it into the fairgrounds and then turn around and sell it. They want
That's not new buildings. That's to maintain
what we already have.
Right.
Okay. So, like if we need to replace asphalt, we need to replace plumbing, coolers, that type of stuff, and they're really pressuring us right now to make sure that we change all of our plumbing fixtures to more water efficient fixtures. You know, because of the
Oh,
the drought and
okay. You
everything.
mean toilets and
Toilets,
showers and
sinks,
sinks.
and
Okay.
you know that type of stuff, urinals, that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
so they're really putting pressure on us to do that. Well, if you don't have money,
Yeah.
Yes.
you can't do that.
Yeah.
So, but and another thing too we were talking about was our solar panels that we have. We have
yeah,
solar panels
solar
on 4
panels.
different buildings. When they were installed incorrectly, and the company that installed them is no longer around. So we're trying to work with Southern California Edison and Department of General Services right now to try to get some type of help on that. And then one of the things that they talked about is say, hey, we need to work on getting your solar panels going. So, you know, the way I look at it is if we can cut our utilities by $2,000 or $3,000, that's just like getting an extra $2,000 or $3,000 in the pot.
Right.
Because savings is just like bringing in extra money.
Right.
You
Right.
know, so and that's what we're trying to do is do things like that. We're trying to find any way that we can cut our utility usage or water usage. We're working with the water district right now on getting switched over from an 8-inch main to a 2-inch main, and that will save us a lot on our ready to serve charge.
Okay. Yes. Right. Because they do charge. Yes.
Exactly. So an 8-inch main meter is a whole lot more expensive than a 2-inch.
Right. Yeah.
And that 8-inch main, the reason we have that is the fact that we do have fire hydrants on the property, and so if we have that as a backup, then that will help us save money. So there's different things angles that we're working at. Not only doing that, cutting back cost, having more events. Trying to make people more aware that, hey, we do have facilities out there for rent. So, you know, my thing is we have such a unique facility in this town. We offer so much more than what anybody else can offer. And it, you know, basically even if state owned, it's still owned by the community. You know, that's the whole thing. We have to have community to support. And so, and like I was telling you earlier, is since we're a state-owned agency, people can donate to the fairgrounds, and it's a tax write-off. So,
Okay.
and then we also have another arm. We have a Friends of the Fair, 501c3 non-profit corporation, a non-profit organization that they can donate to, and you can donate to them and say, okay, this is what I want the money to go to. So we have different ways to
So you
go.
can be very specific about what you're
Absolutely.
looking to have
and we
accomplished.
take that to heart too. If somebody says, an example I give you, had a lady that said, what do you need? You know, what are some of the things we need? We had a sign that was very out there. There was an old-fashioned sign that you had to put the letters up by hand. You had to get up on the forklift and do all that, which is unsafe. And I said, you know, it'd be nice if we had an electronic sign that we could sell advertising to, and also, you know, post our events and everything. She wrote us a check and said, here you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you know, there again, we appreciate that, and we put her name, a plaque on the sign, and also a plaque on the fairgrounds, saying, "Hey, thank you for the donation."
So speaking of the fair, now that we've got everybody excited, when's the fair going to be this year?
The fair is going to be this year a little bit later. It's actually going to be the fourth Thursday. It will start the fourth Thursday of October.
Okay.
So, and the reason we had to do that is we always follow the big Fresno fair, and the reason we do that is we get a lot of their vendors come. We're the last fair
Okay.
of the state fair of the year.
All
So
right.
we get good deals on vendors, entertainment, all that type of stuff.
Speaking of vendors, are you going to be full up for the fair this year?
I hope so. I hope so. And again, we're going to offer local businesses an opportunity. We normally charge $280 for a spot in the fair. That's for 4 days. There's 12,000 people show up at our fair. So for 4 days, you can get a spot for $280. But what we're going to do is make it available to local businesses where they can get a spot for $100.
Wow.
That's
So
a heck of a deal.
That's a heck of a deal.
You better check into that
Yeah.
before they run out of spaces.
Yeah, so anyway, we're going to start probably the 1st of April. We'll start taking reservations and everything for spots. And we've got a lot of things that we're working on, different food. Last year we had fried alligator, deep fried alligator.
Oh, wow.
So
I missed that.
You missed it. You missed it. And,
Son of
and
a
it was
gun.
good. I was surprised. You
Yeah.
know what it tastes like?
I have had
Chicken.
alligator before.
Chicken.
Yeah, that's right. And it does taste like chicken.
Yeah.
Pretty good chicken, in my opinion.
But we try to change it up, and we do have some booths out there for nonprofit organizations that would like to have food. There's all kinds of different fair food that you can do, and so we try not to duplicate because we want people everybody to be successful. But we're excited about it. We got a lot of things on the horizon. We're still going to have a rodeo again this year. Our rodeo was very successful last year. And so we just try to change it up. We try to do different things every year.
And speaking of that, you have that arena. Locals can contact the fair if they want to use it for
Exactly.
a roping event
Sure.
or practice or
Yeah,
just whatever.
absolutely. And we have a roping group out there. They're on most Sundays that have jackpot roping. We have a local gymkhana group that uses it once a month. And we have horse stalls out there for rent. So a lot of people don't understand. Even when I took over the job, I didn't realize how
much-
diverse it was out
Yeah.
there, what we had to offer. And then we're working on the monster trucks for September. Again this year, they missed us last year, but this year we're going to have the monster trucks again.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different things. Beer, wine, and food walk we have the end of March, which is going to be great. We're going to have 14 or 15 different vineyards and breweries that are going to be out there. Some great food from local restaurants and local people. And
Okay, we're about
auction.
ready to end this. Is there
Okay.
anything that you want to get out there before we go away?
Well, the main thing, go to desertempirefair.com. That
That's
tells the
the
story.
answer, folks. DesertEmpireFair.com.
Exactly.
We'll be back next week, same time.